We continue our knowledge sharing mission through a series of interviews with marketing leaders from all over the world, and we're very thrilled and excited to have Diptarup with us today. Welcome, Diptarup. It's a pleasure to have you on our CMO series of Ortus Chats. Why don't you tell us more about what L&T-NxT does?
L&T-NxT is part of a $21 billion conglomerate, which is L&T, which is Larsen & Toubro. L&T-NxT is an independent business unit, which is basically developing SaaS solutions around Industry 4.0 solutions, which is basically industrial IoT, AI, ML, and analytics solutions for industrial manufacturing solutions. L&T-NxT talks to the functional leaders rather than the IT leaders to sell and market their solutions.
How did you end up joining this team, and what motivated you to join them?
Actually, it was day of Diwali, which, as you know, is one of the most important festivals in India. In the evening, the HR kind of pinged me on LinkedIn and started headhunting me. At that point of time, I was not sure. It was late in the evening, height of the pandemic. I thought somebody was perhaps playing a prank, but it moved very fast. The reason I got interested in this was twofold. One was the fact that it was in the area that they operate in is something which is highly competitive, but at the same time, is a huge market. Second thing which really interested me was that I could have that opportunity to grow a brand from scratch, from zero to some level. That I think is a dream job for any marketer. And thirdly is that, okay, you can do that in a startup where you join a really small organization, but you're always worried about where your next paycheck is coming from because obviously funding issues and all that stuff. Being a startup within a very large organization and having that support gives you that kind of cushion to go full flow and full vigor to achieve what you're set out to achieve.
Let's talk a bit about marketing opportunities and events. We both know 2020 was a tough year for anything event related. As a result, how are you making the most of your marketing budget? And are there new opportunities out there that marketers should know about?
Interestingly, when this pandemic hit, ground events was one of the big platforms that B2B or SaaS companies used to use to build brand awareness. Because in a B2B environment, any marketing dollar that you spend had to be tied to a marketing lead that came into the picture. But this was the only platform, events, where you could go and participate without your leadership asking what did you get out of that. But that overnight disappeared. Large, small events, even Olympic Games got pushed to the next year. As all marketers explored, first thing that we did was obviously take all our budgets into the digital world. It was a huge amount of budget which was going on digital, but now almost 100% went there. Secondly, after kind of for a month or two, when we stopped events totally, we started exploring different online event formats. One was obviously take panel discussions and do a small little podcast around that and video casts and
When it comes to hosting these events, what makes an event worth it for your team, and what are the biggest challenges?
Biggest challenges is to make sure that people who attend and not just people who register would engage. My biggest challenge is to make sure that I have content engaging enough. Volume was no guarantee of getting any quality. So we explored what are the platforms. One is obviously you do your own internal panel discussion. Then you have an external speaker doing a panel discussion, podcasts. Then you have fireside chat, get it sponsored, or you use these podcasts to disseminate in third-party platforms. Then we start doing the sponsored events. The third part is that you do your own large format event. You get people from using your own network, people put in their money and hope people to attend. We explored all these formats. None of them worked better than the other. All had its successes and failures. But I think people are now realizing what kind of mix is required to make a successful online event. My two bits is that I don't think online will remain online throughout. I think people are hungry to have face-to-face interactions. But I think we will also go back to the past.
What's one career advice you've received that's been particularly valuable to you as a marketing leader?
See, marketing is an application of the creative mind. Apply creativity wherever you can. And once you apply it, be patient and persistent. Because if it was just a numbers game, then only big brands would survive. Small brands could never make it. It is the creativity that makes small brands become big. Be as creative as you can. Don't just fall back on numbers. Be persistent and be patient.
It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I'm looking forward to the next catch-up. Thank you so much for taking the time, Diptarup. Thank you
so much.